In this video I'd like to talk to you about the benefits of estuary restoration and to show that they are higher than for terrestrial restoration or restoration of terrestrial ecosystems. Firstly, what is an estuary? An estuary is partially enclosed coastal body of water where the water from rivers and streams mixes with salt water in the ocean. Estuaries and surrounding lands are places of transition from land to sea. In South Africa, the estuarine realm is one of the most endangered ecosystem types. According to the National Biodiversity Assessment of 2018, multiple interventions are required to prevent further declines in estuary health. As you can see from this table, estuaries are amongst the highest value ecosystems. The Neisner estuary was valued at $457 per hectare per year. Studies from Costanza and De Groot also showed very high values in New Jersey and other localities. And then for non-estuaries, such as the fisheries, marine fisheries, catchment areas of the Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, see the values are considerably lower, less than $100 per hectare per year. So what is ecological restoration? Ecological restoration provides a means for reversing environmental degradation. It's a means of assisting in the recovery of an ecosystem that has been degraded, damaged or destroyed. This is according to the Restoration Resource Center. And the economics of ecological restoration involves putting an economic value on the benefits of ecological restoration in terms of improved ecosystem services and comparing this with the costs of ecological restoration. So what are the values of ecological restoration of estuaries compared with restoration of other ecosystem types? Firstly, other ecosystem types, and this I've taken from Baumford et al. 2002. For the forests ecosystem, they found that the economic values were 14% higher if forests were placed under sustainable management. And then in terms of sustainable mangroves, this was 70% higher, wetlands 60% higher, and coral reef 75% higher. So even just looking at Baumford's study, one can see that the values of water bodies were considerably higher than terrestrial ecosystems. But what about estuaries? Let's have a look at those. So in the study of Congweni estuary, Leroux et al. Found that ecosystem restoration values were 22% higher, and Crooks 2024 found the Swartkorps estuary values were 16% higher. But you must note also that the estuary studies consider the cost of restoration, whereas Baumford doesn't consider the cost of restoration, and that would lower the returns from the ecological restoration. Conclusion: the results for estuaries are not directly comparable to the studies from Baumford, as I alluded earlier, since Baumford considers change in land use from destructive practices to sustainable practices, whereas estuary studies consider the value of ecosystem restoration by also including costs. Furthermore, Baumford's study was based on total economic value, whereas the estuary studies were only based on some but not all components of total economic value. Nevertheless, the results indicate that the values of water body restoration, estuaries, wetlands, mangroves, and forestries produce higher returns than terrestrial forest restoration. And if you wish to read further on this finding, My book, Economics of Estuary Restoration in South Africa, published by Routledge in 2024, provides further information and case studies on this work. Thank you very much for listening.